Oh, Moderoid for Mazinger kits. Hello, and welcome to Late Night Plebpla. We're not uploading outside the regular hour, but recording outside the regular hour. Today's model is the Moderoid Mazinkaizer. Now, as we learned from our previous encounter with the Moderoid kit, it was unpleasant and not fun. Sure, the end result was fine enough, but the process and some of the details were not that great. And somebody far more popular than I have finally put their review out, a month after I did. So who had their finger on the pulse? Your boy had his finger on the pulse. But I digress. Moderoid likes to do the thing where their boxes open like shoe boxes. I'm going to pull this out. I just wanted to show off the box briefly. So we're going to put that aside. And we're going to set this aside also as well. Here we have the Mazinkaizer's manual. It's many more pages than the Strelitzia. And also comes with, curiously, an insert sheet that is only one-sided and only covers the runners, as opposed to the runner count being, one of the first pages in the sheet. So here on this back side in the absolutely full color manual, you get the front cover here, some shots of the model kit here showing off a lot of its posing and some of its articulation, a few other features, and what it suggests as some customized paint for the clear parts that are in the wings. The other two Mazinkaizer style kits in the line, followed by your generic instructions and warnings such as using glue. I will say that while there are about 5 or 6 pieces that recommend glue, it's actually only recommended and not really required this time. So I only used it on one part, and we'll get to that. Let's show off the other side of the manual. Get body construction, legs, and then over to the arms, and finally the sword and the wings on the back. And I apologize for having to do that sort of method in showing off the manual. I don't have a lot of recording space, so we do what we do. For better images, you can always go to Hobby Search. I am not sponsored, but I wholly support them as often as I can. So here we go. It's your boy, the Moderoid Mazinkaizer, ready to hit you up with the Blaster Nova. Fire Nova? I don't know, they change it every time I play a Super Robot Wars game. I didn't keep any of the runners on this, so unfortunately I can't show you the runners. I'm sorry. But let's talk about the articulation, what we can talk about. We're going to pull his arms down, which actually don't go very far down compared to where I had them. I'm going to go ahead and keep them at the side, like so. So here, at the head, we have a lot of pre-painted parts in there. The gold here, all of the face is pre-painted here. You get a full Exorcist twist with some caution. You get a lot of head banging back and forth, mostly in the forward, less in the back. You even actually get some good side-to-side motion. So he's got a lot of range in his head. The one and only part that I used any glue on was to keep the pilder in place. It was just the tiniest fraction too big to go in there and stay in there on its own, so I did a little sanding, got him down, got it in there, and it's still a tight fit, and I don't want to sand anymore, so it's glued in. There are other parts in the head that recommended gluing, but you don't need to. Here at the arms, You can see there's a little bit of inner frame shoulder work there. We're actually going to go ahead and pop this backpack off. Right? Yes. It does come off, but there it goes. It's slightly clipped in there. So here you see in the arm that there's a bit of an inner frame shoulder, but it doesn't go up very far. So this is about as far as you get at an arm raise. It does have a very stiff twist here at the shoulder. It's a circle inside a hexagon, so when you turn it, you kind of feel that position where it wants to rest. And with the arm back in place, you get one elbow bend here. Very interesting elbow bend, but then you get even more here. It's right here, if I can do one and not the other, at this gold part. I feel like there's something in its construction that doesn't really, that you kind of have to finagle it a bit, because it won't bend here at the gold immediately first. It'll bend at the elbow, and then reversing it further will bend it at the gold. But even then, when you return it to normal, it's a little stiff, but you're not going to break anything. That's just the way it's designed. And over here, it's a regular ball joint with the closed fist. At the waist, you get hella ab crunch for days. We'll show that off at the back too. It gets some twist at the upper portion of the torso, followed by a lot more than I was expecting, honestly. You get some here at the waist. Now, curiously, because of the design, this iron diaper, this black thong feels a little loose, like it's snapped around and plugged in underneath, so it's got a little wiggle, but it's super secure. There's nothing to worry about, even in all that twisting. I just don't think you get a lot of twist at the lower torso as opposed to the wide range of motion at the upper torso. Arms up, my guy, because we need the room. Now at the legs, you can see here that you've got a full thigh twist. Excuse me, I'm very sorry. A good side kick, giving it incredible splits. You get this strange sideways front kick. Same to the back. And that's just a design of like older action figures where the waist was cut here and the legs only went upward and to the front. So that's that being in the way. Oh no. The knee, you've got one bend there, and that's it. Just the one bend. But that's a pretty good single jointed bend due to its design. And then at the feet, you get some back and front to back rocking, and you get some side to side twisting, but it doesn't really like roll too much around. The feet are very stiff and secure. So it is a very stiff and secure kit. It does not feel like it's going to flop over. You might need to put a little bit of force into getting him to pose, but he's locked in. With all that out of the way, we're going to pop this backpack back in, never having to remove that. Back here in the design, the action base is designed into the backpack itself rather than the crotch zone. You have some articulation here at these smaller wings, which are just mostly for posing around, and then these larger wings have some back and forth twist, but no up and down or real back and forth. That's just the looseness of the fit. And allow me to get up in here as we move on to these stickers. Now, as was my previous gripe with the Strelitzia, those stickers felt like they were just paper-ass stickers and a hot mess. These are a very thin, like, foil. Like, Bandai has its foil stickers that are kind of on a paper. These are all foil. Like, it's impressive. It's amazing, honestly. These are just little extra bits that were inside, but you get a whole lot of extra, like, accent joint kind of giant screw stickers, unless I missed them somewhere in there. And then you get extra. These are used in one spot that you probably will never notice. Right here, this little blue gem in the pilder. I figure it gives you extras in the case that you rip one or two, because it's such a very thin material. Inside here, up here in the chest, once it focuses, you can't tell, but inside this piece here, inside of this nice red shiny goodness, are the silver stickers that are over here in the chest, which is the same for these wing pieces right here. Matter of fact, if I put in a valiant effort, a very careful effort, because it's just sandwich, we're going to go ahead and show you the inside. Now, fitting the stickers is a pain in the butt. As you can see, I've got some bubbles in there, but the stickers are very much well designed, because down here, this is one sticker, and then this long curve is another, with this part that wraps around the peg. This section here is another sticker, this one here, followed by that here, and then this right down here. Now, of course, you've got the bubbles there, but once this clear piece is on, oh, hold on, before I press that in, let's get a look at this. Let's get a look at the detail inside of that piece. Like, this came out like mid 2018, I believe, and this is a lot of detail for being inside of a clear piece. Like, I think as far as Bandai goes, perhaps only the Moon Gundam has such a large clear part that you can get articulation and design in there like that, up until the high-grade Mazinger came out. So sandwich that back in, nice and fit. Let me just plug that back into the side right there. Bam! So very impressive stickers. It's a very jarring quality compared to the Strelitzia. It's bizarre. So it also comes with a handful of hands. We have one holding hand here, but a second partial holding hand. It's one of those gripping kind of separate fingers formers situation. I don't know how to describe that. It's something the master grades use a lot of. You'll take the finger parts and swap them into the wrist of preference, because you can see here, that is just slightly curved downward, so you get that holding out grip. Then you have the closed hands that are in Mazinger right now, and a pair of very detailed open hands. They're stubby and thick, but I just think that's how it is. The other closed hand is over here on the Mazinger blade. Very nicely detailed, and if I can get the camera to focus, you can just barely see inside that gem, and similarly the one on the chest. There is a Z engraved into that clear part. So real quick, we're going to pop this hand off, and it is simply a matter of plugging the hand in. So now not only does he hold it, but if you play, you're posing correctly. I'm trying to get this just right around everything. There we go. I got it past that part. Oh my god, it looks terrible. It looks terrible. This is not going out. This is not planned. This is not as planned. Because it has an elbow joint and I forgot. Oh, this is going terribly. It's hilarious. Grab it at the wrist, the bicep, and turn it. Move the head. And then pop this piece in. And he can carry his sword correctly behind his back. That is just when you get him posing well and looking good. Like, do a little fiddling with the arm and get it to set just right. Your boy looks super dynamic. Much like everyone's favorite Final Fantasy protagonist. There we go. So, this is the Moderoid Mazinkaizer. I have no intentions on picking up the other two, simply for shelf space mostly. But, as far as this boy goes, if you see this out in the wild, ZEON says, fund it. It's a different kind of construction, but it's most certainly very, very good. And for comparison, we're going to bring in Grandpa Mazinger. Grandpa Mazinger stands just hold on, I'm trying to get them in for you. Grandpa Mazinger stands a good head taller than the non-scale Moderoid Mazinkaizer. Because, as we all know, Mazinkaizer is supposed to be the biggest, the baddest of Mazingers outside of Zero. So, it is most certainly a non-scale situation. But they wanted to definitely have it very much scale, regular, along with, you know, your normal model kits, because here he is next to the Gym Sniper, and he is 2 heads taller than my grandpa. I'm pretty sure you'll never find this out in the wild, so you'll definitely have to go and hunt this down on your own. If you're a fan of Mazinger and Mazinkaizer, I most certainly recommend it. But I thank y'all for watching, and as always, see ZEON.